In any business, time is money. Selling photos and videos online is not a hobby, given that it generates earnings, and the fact that you had to spend a lot of time on the computer for the post-production and the description of every image means that it's not worth it to shoot too many photos of the subjects you decide to portray. Microstock newbies believe that the same content they publish on social media can become stock images and stock footage that sell, so they shoot subjects they find by chance without first doing a search in order to understand if the market wants them. I'm sorry to shatter your dreams, but if you work that way, you won't earn anything. I'll go into detail. Let's say you're spending a beautiful and relaxing holiday in the mountains, like I often do in my lovely Italian Alps. At a certain point, in one of those empty roads in the valleys with wonderful fields both on the right and on the left, you see a group of cows grazing. The artistic photographer that lies within you tells you to stop the car and start shooting over and over again, not considering that even if what you're doing is pleasant, for each image you create, you will have to spend at least 10 minutes on the computer for the post-production and for describing it on Microstocks. The question the good Microstock contributor should ask while shooting is, how many pictures of cows should I take? The assumption is that cows are not a profitable subject for your stock images. So my answer is close-up of a cow, small group of 2 or 3 cows, small group a little bigger, and 1 to 5 additional pictures only if you think there is the possibility of creating an interesting situation, like adding a person as a second subject. Agency algorithms consider the quantity of contents of each contributor as a parameter to create their indexes, but a large portfolio can help your sales only if the images in it actually sell. If you start uploading unsellable photos and videos, you're telling the algorithms that you're not able to generate earnings, so the agency won't show your content to its potential customers. Now be honest, if you hadn't listened to my advice, you will have brought home at least 50 shots of the cows. Is that true? Let's change the situation. Now you want to create stock images with models, so you had to create a set. Unlike cows, this shooting session costs you money, as you have to work with people and professional lighting. To be profitable, you have to plan what you're going to shoot as much as possible, because the time you spend on the set is much more expensive than the time you spend alone in front of your computer while planning. In one of the videos I sent to those who subscribe to my newsletter, I show stock images shot in Florence with models doing something that has a commercial value, like holding a cup of takeout coffee, reading a map, eating an ice cream, or making a selfie. If you search in the Adobe stock collection where I bought those photos, despite the possibility of each shot having dozens of alternatives, the photographer uploaded only 1 or 2 photos for each situation. Considering that the producer was a bestseller contributor, that kind of workflow can be considered the most efficient. When I say you had to plan as much as possible, I mean that you have to start shooting knowing what you portray. The secret to having a lower production cost for each content is not underpaying people, but creating more situations to produce profitable photos and videos. To be able to do that in the best way possible, when you're at home, go to the dropstock.io keyword research tool and write a very generic word like woman as search term, and on file types select video or images. From the list of keywords and ratings that appear, the first important information that you have to consider to create the schedule is that close-up, smiling, casually dressed women are good in terms of sales. If you then decide to shoot outdoors, you can get some additional information writing outdoors as a search term. After doing that, you can understand, for example, that it is better to shoot in a park rather than in an urban setting. That models have to do something that has to do with leisure, and that shooting on a day with a beautiful sun is more profitable. Leisure is also a good subject. After realizing this, write that word in the dropstock.io tool in order to find other interesting ideas. So you understand that your models must be smiling, young, beautiful, and doing healthy things. Then, to understand what your models should be doing, you have to insert random activities as search terms and check the ratings that the software gives you. Thinking about the images I have shown you before, try, for example, ice cream to understand if it is worth asking your models to eat one. That situation is not easy to shoot, considering that an actual ice cream melts and a fake one is not easy to find, but it may be worthwhile. The tool says that the ice cream has a very high rating, so you have a great subject and you have to plan your scenes with this information in mind if you want to earn. If instead your aim is to have fun with Microstock, just like you do with the photos you publish on social media, then stop the car when you see a group of cows grazing in a mountain field and shoot them 100 times. It's your life and you can enjoy whether you like to, but if you want to make money, you need to use the tool I explained. By analyzing selling data from agencies, you discover that if you shoot models eating an ice cream and you create 4K videos, you will probably soon earn what you need to repay the time you worked and the model's salary, as 4K stock footage is sold for about $200 and you can sell the same video as many times as you want. By planning, you can turn a shooting session into a passive income that will produce earnings for years. Taking pictures of cows by chance and organizing a set with models are two completely different situations, and there are dozens of other subjects you can shoot to try to make money with Microstock. Most producers create stock images and stock footage of their travels, so over time it has become very difficult to get satisfying earnings shooting tourist destinations. The best advice I can give to sell content set in cities like Paris, New York, or London is to plan what to portray when you're at home and don't take more than 3 or 4 shots per subject. Using people in front of famous backgrounds is always a turning point for your sales. Those models can also be friends and relatives that came to visit the destination with you. As they will work for free, you can also be less professional when planning and shooting your stock images and stock footage, since you're on a holiday and probably you and your travel companion want to enjoy it. Now you know what to do to make more money. Please remember about this tutorial when you will find some cows in a beautiful field around the bend. And when this happens, keep in mind that if you do not shoot them, your earnings probably won't change that much.
Microstocgguru.com